Tonight, the Prime Minister breaks down at a news conference. A budget boost for Queenslanders and pensioner mayhem at Logan City.
Mike Higgins, Nev Roberts and David Fordham present 7 National News.
Good evening, Queensland. Thanks for joining us. Prime Minister Bob Hawke broke down and sobbed at an emotional news conference in Canberra today. Mr. Hawke was responding to Andrew Peacock's accusations that he was effectively protecting some of the most powerful criminals in Australia.
Bob Hawke has cried before, but never like this. This was an intensely personal moment in the life of a very public man, and the nation shared his distress. What caused him to weep? A seemingly innocent question about whether politicians should be suing each other over claims like that made against him by Andrew Peacock.
It's not only a matter affecting yourself. You don't cease to be a husband. You don't cease to be a father. And my children and my wife have a right to be protected in this matter. But I trust it will not be necessary.
The Prime Minister's grief was overwhelming when asked about a National Times story concerning his daughter's court appearance in 1982. In that hearing, Mr. Justice Ford of the New South Wales District Court upheld an appeal by Sue Hawke against 2 previously unreported drug convictions.
Like any father, I love my daughter. I trust her. And she was completely exonerated by the processes of the law. I had no contact with the judge or anyone involved in it, and yet you have this insinuation that affects her. Of course I'm upset.
More teachers, nurses and police, and no rises in state taxes. They're the main points in the state budget handed down by Sir Joe Bjelke-Petersen today. Here's Ian Hislop with a complete rundown.
Thanks, Nev. On his return from Europe at the weekend, the Premier said today's budget would be, and I quote, an exceedingly good one. Well, in the context that the man in the street won't be hit by additional taxes and charges, he's right. The main thrust is a boost of $600 million over the next 2.5 years to the government's capital works program. The Premier told Parliament that will create an additional 40,000 jobs, but it's unclear what effect it'll have on the state's high unemployment rate of 9.6%. What the government is saying, however, is that the budget will provide an additional 1,155 teachers, 100 police officers and 461 hospital staff, that is, doctors and nurses. The big winner in this budget is the Education Minister. For the first time, he gets over $1 billion, or 1,076 million, a 16% increase on last year. The money will go to 10 new high schools, 17 primary schools and 79 preschools. All are expected to be finished by the end of 1987. Also, to generate employment, an additional $200 million will go into the area of water resources and road construction. 2 highlights, almost $30 million will go to the Bundaberg irrigation area and $100 million will be used on the road approaches to the Gateway Bridge. A new $40 million government office complex will be built in Mary Street. And a particularly topical announcement was that out of the $691 million hospital budget, the state will go ahead with or without federal government backing to establish a liver transplant unit to handle the growing list of patients in need of the operation. In the area of tourism, the government has increased by 20% its allocation to the Queensland Tourist and Travel Corporation, giving it almost $13 million. In the primary industry area, sugar farmers will get $5 million in carry-on assistance.
No, there's no way that he can commit this government to the expenditure of that, of the difference between 90 million and 600 million over the next 2 years, and that's what I mean when I say that it's a false budget.
According to Premier Sir Joe, the massive special works program will become one of the great accomplishments of his government. But really, that depends on whether it has the desired effect of pulling down the high unemployment rate. Ian Hislop, 7 National News.
Well, today's budget allocation to the state's ailing sugar industry is unlikely to satisfy Queensland cane farmers whose wives are now threatening to march through the streets of Bundaberg to air their plight. Federal Primary Industry Minister John Kerrin this week accused Queensland of not doing enough to save the industry from collapse. But, as Michael Spencer reports, it's Canberra rather than Brisbane that's likely to come under pressure in the lead-up to the federal election.
Babinda Mill, just south of Cairns, is probably the worst hit by the present crisis. The mill says it's in a very difficult situation. Others say it's teetering on the brink of collapse. If it goes, the town of Babinda will go with it. Already several farmers in the area have gone to the wall.